Hello, beautiful healing community. It's your girl, Salenna, and this is another episode of the Hot Girls Healing Podcast. Today, I am joined by the lovely Princess, who is someone that I've met through the healing, podcast community and the Black podcast community, which I'm getting more into. Look, the healing podcast community and the Black podcast community really got me saying I'm a podcaster with my whole chest, like proud as hell. Which if you if
Because
you're
you are.
listening back in the day, you know that I kind of entered the podcast sector having a little bit of a bias towards it, thinking it was all just, BS, this and that. But no, it is not. And Princess is definitely proof of that. So today we are talking about the power of the mind, which is extremely relevant. There's a lot going on in the world right now. A lot of people are feeling a lot of things, and it can be hard to stay focused on what's important, right? So we're talking about all of that today in this episode. Before I say too much, Princess, do you want to introduce yourself to the people and let them know what we need to know?
I do. My name is Princess Banks. I am all things media. So I'm a host, media correspondent, moderator. I work with different brands and things like that on events. So just all things media, all things interviewing, red carpets. I'm talking a lot. I'm also a radio personality here in Atlanta. So I love what I do. I love interviewing. I love having great conversations, meaningful conversations, things of value is what drives me. So this is right up my alley, with mindset, healing, and everything like that. And I love it. And thank you for having me. I'm glad to be a part of it today.
I'm so glad that you are having this conversation with me. Again, it's an extremely relevant conversation. And when we talk about the power of the mind, like, what are we talking about, right? We are not talking about how to bend a spoon, like in the Matrix with the power of your mind.
Exactly.
Nah.
No magic tricks.
Yeah. This is about how do I stay focused on my goals with everything that's happening in the world? How do I, accept what I'm able to control and release what I'm not able to control? How do I stop myself from spiraling? How do I bring myself back before I go too far mentally? That is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the power of the mind. Princess, is that along the same wavelength?
Yes, that you're on the right road, okay?
Yeah.
Keep going, keep going. Definitely.
Okay, because I'm like, look, I saw a video the other day on TikTok of someone talking about how to bend the spoon, and I was like, ooh, maybe I'll try, but look, I don't know if I'm there yet. I want to be open to the possibilities, but okay. So we know what we're talking about, right? We're talking about how we keep our minds together, how we keep a grip, if is a way that I like to keep it with myself. Like, how do I get a grip and keep that grip even when there's so much going on that I cannot control? There's so much that may feel like it's pressing in on you at times. And those are the kind of things that I think affect the power that we have on our mind. What we're calling doom scrolling. I see it all the time. Your doom scrolling is when you're like on social media or what have you, and you're just bad news to thing that makes you sad, to thing that triggers your anxiety, to thing that reminds you of that one time when somebody took your money and didn't pay you back, to, just
Need my money.
right. And it's just bad thing after bad thing after bad thing. And while nothing is necessarily happening to you, you might start to feel a little mood shift.
Mhm.
You might start to be remembering those things that happened that upset you, that you thought you let go of. And now here you are got a bad attitude at 8:42 a.m. You ain't even talked to nobody yet.
No, that is so true. I just want to say, first of all, I did not, that's a good name for doom scrolling.
Mhm.
starting off with that point, I'm very, very particular on what I follow, who I follow, and what I'm allowing into my psyche. You know what I mean? What am
Mhm.
I allowing myself to see, my mind, everything like that. If it's someone that's always posting like depressing stuff, crazy stuff, off the wall stuff, I cannot follow you. I cannot be a part of any of that. For me, I need to see like positivity. I need to see people going after their goals, doing what they want to
Mhm.
do. I need to see people working out, what you eating today, what restaurant are you at, different things like that. That's going to be like, uplifting or just give you a different outlook on the day, or somebody that likes getting on talking about positive things
Mhm.
or sharing business tips, things that can help us elevate in our business and our life, different things like that. So I'm very particular on things like that with my following. And I want to say, like, getting a grip, that is like so important. For me, getting a grip is identifying the situation, like what is going on right now, what am I dealing with, what is what is the step-by-step play. So I always check in with myself. I was like, okay, what is going on, what am I feeling, why do I feel like this? The next thing for me, I have to automatically go into prayer. So for me, it's like canceling out any like negative thoughts, any negative feelings, anything like that. I'm speaking against that
Mhm.
immediately. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, even though it's happening, it's not happening to me. God is going to work this out. Whatever it may be, I'm going to find a way
Yes.
to get through this situation.
Yes.
Um, Another main thing that helps me with getting a grip, because sometimes you just don't want to like burden people with your issues and with your problems, and it's like always this and it's always something.
Mhm.
So for me, it's journaling. That has like helped me through the years so much. So I just have like a notebook. I just date it, everything like that, and I just journal my thoughts. This is what I'm feeling. This is what is going on. This is what I want the outcome to be. This is what I need to get through this situation. Different things like that. So that's what's really helped me get a grip and stay sane.
Mm.
But it's so powerful in the cancellation. Like, when that negative thought hits you or something crazy happens to you, instead of just, crashing out and having a moment and going off and doing all the things, it's like, okay, take a minute, sit with yourself. What is going on? What am I feeling? And how am I about to get through this situation? Something's already happening to you. So me overreacting and flipping out and crashing out and doing all these things is not going to help the situation get any better. So
Yes.
let's get to foundation. Let's start building something right now where
Right.
we can, get a grip, get my mind together and everything like that. And I can better think through the situation and see how I'm about to figure this all out.
Oh,
So I just say, like,
yes.
if you're like doing the doom scrolling and everything, check who you're following, what you're interacting with, because your algorithm can be messed up, just be the little things that you're clicking on, different things like that. So it's very important to just be aware of all of that.
Yes. And like another thing that I'm hearing is like be real, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're scrolling, those things that you tap on, those things that you give attention are training your algorithm, right?
Yes.
Like be real with yourself, and that's going to lead you into what you actually want. If you're saying you want one thing and doing another, right? There's an inconsistency there, and you got to be the one to pick that up and see that and be like, okay, that's what is really happening. This is where I really am right now. It may not be where I want to be, but we get caught up in a society of pretending, right? So we'll pretend our
Mm.
way pretend ourselves all the
Like,
way to
fake
whatever.
it till you make it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right. But faking it till you make it, you can't do that with yourself. You can't fake it
You
until you make
cannot.
it with yourself, because you're never going to make it, right? You got to be real. You got to get in that journal, right? You got to face yourself
Definitely.
and your circumstances. You got to think about, how am I showing up? How am I pursuing what I say I want, right? How am I speaking to myself when I make a mistake? If I want to
Mm-hmm.
be a person who
Mm.
is this, that, and the other, is this person motivating? Right? Because when you were speaking and you were like, I start speaking against things immediately, I was like, I used to feel delusional for doing that. I used to be like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
broke. Why am I speaking like I'm going to have money one day? Because I am.
Mm-hmm.
And if
You
I believe
definitely
that, then why not speak it right now? Why not?
You ain't broke, you just pre-millionaire. You know, that's how I
Exactly,
like to put
right?
it.
And that's a small reframing, because telling the truth is also,
Hmm.
being real. That's important to me. I'm like, why
Exactly.
am I saying I'm rich when I'm opening my wallet and see the lack of it, right?
Like,
But
excuse
you can
me,
still
a couple
you can
minutes.
bring that energy in, right? And that's still
Yes.
you being real, because that is real. You are pursuing that. That is your reality. Someone who is pre-rich, someone who is pre-successful, who has the deals, whose deals are on their way to them, right? Because that deal ain't
Hmm.
at your door right now, but it's on its way, and you know that.
Always
And
on
so
the
you're
way.
acting like that, and you're moving like
Hmm.
that, and all of a sudden everything's different because you were real with yourself.
That's so true. And I think this point you caught me with what you said. I think it's so important. It was like, what are you saying to yourself? I don't think
Mm.
people realize how hard they are on themselves when things are going on, when things are happening just on a daily basis. Your relationship with you is the most important relationship that you're going to have. It sets the trajectory for everything else. If that's not right, nothing else is going to be right. Nothing else is going to be in alignment. So when you look in the mirror, you need to be speaking life into yourself. Yeah, you might have made a bad decision, bad choices, different things like that. But you still need to be speaking life in yourself, still telling yourself you're amazing, you're great, you're going to get back on track, things are going to work out,
Mm-hmm.
different things like that. You are not in the mirror speaking negative against yourself, calling yourself names, stupid,
Right.
anything like that. I cannot stand it when people call themselves out of their name. Do not ever be around me calling yourself stupid, crazy, anything. You know what I mean? No, you're
Mm-hmm.
not. It's all good. You just have to continue to speak that. People get off track with a lot of different things in life. That's fine. Just when you look in that mirror, make sure that you're speaking life in yourself. Make sure that that person is cared for. Make sure that person knows that they're loved. Make sure everything's going to be okay. That's what you need to continue to tell yourself. So I just want to tap into that point right there because that was so very important. You have to always be speaking to yourself with kindness. Make sure you're kind to yourself. Make sure you love yourself. You want to give all this attention to other things and other people, and you just neglected your whole self right here. And it's like yourself is craving for this love and this attention that you're trying to get from others when all you got to do is give it to yourself first. You know what I mean? So I think that
Mm-hmm.
is so very important.
Yeah, a lot of time I talk to people who will self-identify even as, recovering people pleasers. And I put myself in
Ooh,
this
yeah.
category because
Mhm.
I just got to be real, right? I was people pleasing, and it wasn't something that I was going around consciously doing, but it was what it was. When I became
Yeah.
aware of the behaviors, when I applied knowledge to it, it was people pleasing at its root.
Yeah.
And so when through being real with myself, I did have a lot of conversation with people where I and they and we were like, yeah, so we're just like, we treat people this way and we just show them, and so then eventually they'll start doing it back. And girl, no.
It never happens that way. It's never gonna happen that way. And it's like I definitely understand that people pleasing thing and where you just want everyone to be good and you want everyone to
Mhm.
be okay. And are you fine? But it's like, am I fine? It's just like being a giver. I'm just giving and giving and giving and giving. And it's like I'm not receiving anything back. This has to be an equal opportunity relationship. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Whatever it is, I can't just keep giving to you. I'm giving you my mind. I'm giving you my advice, like whatever it may be. You know what I mean? The money, people just ask for things like that. So with me, it's just I definitely cut a lot of that off. Like I don't borrow anything, let anything go out. You know what I mean? People ask for things like,
Mhm.
but I'm just like, why do you think I got it? I take it all the time like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's just being okay with saying no. And then the other part of that is being okay with not giving a response to that no. Because
Mhm.
people feel like, oh, I can say no, and now I got to explain 50,000 times on why it's no, and I hope that's
Mhm.
okay, and whoo, that type of thing. It's like my answer's no, and that's just what it's going to be right now. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to
Yes.
go into details. I don't have to give a whole dissertation on why that's my answer. That's just my response. And that's just what we're going to go with. And if you feel that way, it's making you angry, it's making you mad, you're just not my person. You're just not my people. And then you're just going to go to the next person and just take, and use for them anyway. You know what I mean? If that's just who they are, they're just a user. They're just going to hop from person to person to person and just leave you empty and dry. So it's just be okay with saying no and setting your boundaries. And everyone needs to have some type of boundary set on what you're going to allow and not allow, and
Mhm.
how much of yourself you're going to give without getting anything back for yourself. Like your cup is just over here empty. You're just pouring and pouring and pouring, and
Yeah.
you're just like, "Man, nobody's filling me up. Nobody's giving me anything back." You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So you really have to reevaluate those relationships and those people in your life, you know?
Yeah, because honestly, there's people who are pour into you gladly, lovingly, abundantly,
Oh,
like givers, right? You're a giver, find givers because they're gonna give,
hmm,
baby. Like me,
definitely.
me and my good girlfriends, like we love to take care of each other. Like we host events, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing wrong with wanting to pour into
Hmm.
people. You are not wrong
Definitely.
for feeling that way.
At all.
That's who you are. And there ain't nothing wrong with who you are, right? The
Hmm.
problem
Right.
is when we pour our energy in directions where, like you said, there's not that
Hmm.
reciprocity. There's nothing coming
Yeah.
back. And we're just gonna end up feeling drained, even if
Yeah.
we don't intend to, right? Even if we're pursuing
Hmm.
a reciprocal relationship, a mutually beneficial relationship, if we stay in one with someone who is not willing to give us that, we're still gonna end up there, even though that's not our intention. So you gotta stay vigilant. You really do have to not only be willing to fill your own cup first and foremost, but see that as your responsibility. For me, that's one of my
Definitely.
boundaries. I actually can't be in a relationship with someone who it would require me to, give too much of myself
Yeah.
without getting something back, because I need that. I know I need to receive back, and it's not a bad thing to know that you need to receive too. You're worthy of receiving, right? We all are.
Yeah.
And if you know
Ooh,
other
that's a
people
word
are
right
worthy of,
there.
you know what I mean? Those other people are worthy of your love, so that means you are worthy of
Hmm.
love, right?
That was a word. You are worthy of receiving. You are worthy of receiving love. You're worthy of receiving care. You're worthy of someone actually being there for you genuinely. I love that. Hmm.
Yeah, and that's again the power of the mind, right? Because if we know that and we act like that, that's the other part. Because I knew a lot. Let me tell you, your girl was studious. Okay, I'm a reader, so I know a lot. But was I acting on it? Was I applying the knowledge?
Right.
Was I being intentional? No. Short answer. But once I started, everything changed.
Yes. And I'm glad that you saw that in yourself, like, okay, a change needs to be made. And it's like you have all the tools. You said, I read up on it. I have all the tools. I had all the resources, but I'm still not applying this in my life. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
that's very important. It's like we know what we need to do. We know what boundaries we need to set. We know what we need in our life to keep our mental intact, to keep a grip on life. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's just another part of losing yourself. It's just give, 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 give. And it's just like wearing and tearing you down. So it's like apply what you know. This is not for me, or this is what I need to do less of, or anything like that, or change these relationships around.
Mhm.
So I think that was a
Mhm.
very important point that you had said. Mhm.
Yeah, and I mean, again, this we're talking about what affects how much power we even have on our minds, right? Because some of this stuff can start early. If you talking wild to yourself, if you're being mean, if you're calling yourself names, you didn't pull that out of thin air, okay?
Yep.
These are learned behaviors. And at a certain point, we're just sponges, right? We're just taking in what's happening around us. We ingest it. There was a lot that I thought was normal that I did not find out was not normal until a lot later, right? Because
Yeah.
it was developed at a time where I was just learning. So
Yeah.
once we realize that things are either not working for us, can't go with us where we're trying to go, right? Whatever the realization is, doesn't feel good anymore, doesn't sound good anymore. We don't like how our body responds to it. There's going to be clues. Pay attention to them.
Definitely.
Then you know it's time, right? Because now you've noticed. And if you're an adult, okay, the responsibility is there. It's your turn now. Whatever it is, you gotta unlearn it, unpack it, put it down, leave it alone, step away from it, and pick something else up.
Ooh, that is a word. And that's so important. I wanted to say you have to give yourself grace. And
Mm.
I think people don't give themselves enough grace to overcome. And I think that's so important what you said, like things maybe we've learned in childhood or growing up or things that we've dealt with in the past. Those were learning stages for us. Those were things we didn't know. Maybe we're introduced to different things. Like this was introduced like it was okay and it really wasn't. But when you grow and you're an adult now, it's like, okay, I have to unlearn these bad habits. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
Like I have
yeah.
to start putting things in place now for me to grow. And it's like I can't blame whoever it may be, your parents, your old
Mm.
relationships, whatever it may be. I can't continue to blame them. Yes, this was set up for me to fail, basically. You know what I mean? But it's my job now to get myself back on track, to give myself grace, to know that I can win, to know that I can get this in order, to begin this healing process. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And be okay with it and not stay in the misery, not oh, just woe is me. It's just the way I am. I no, it's just not the way I am. I can overcome and come out of anything. You know what I mean? With the right prayer, with the right resources, with the right help, therapy, whatever it may be that you need. But don't just sit in what was taught to you, what was learned to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You got to grow through
absolutely.
all of that.
Yeah.
And that definitely takes grace to just be gentle with yourself as you're overcoming. You're a new person now. So it's new things that's going to be learned, you know?
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
And then like in stepping into that new personhood, now you're just learning. Now you're
Yeah,
back in that phase where you're just learning again, but now you are teaching you,
the
right?
right
You're the
way.
teacher.
Mhm.
You decide what we're going to hear. You decide what we're going to see, right? And now I'm deciding what messages I receive. And it can start as a slow process. Like,
Oh,
and I
definitely.
felt
Baby
ridiculous
steps.
when I first started saying affirmations. I was like, okay, like, okay, I'm safe, which is crazy too.
Like,
I
what
think
am I
one was
saying?
ridiculous, but yeah, you know what I mean. But now I'm like, yeah, these affirmations work.
They did.
This grounding works. But start where you're at. Just deciding, hey, maybe this doesn't work for me. That's power.
That's the first step. That's the first
Yeah,
step. That's all you need to do is say that right there. This does not work for me. This is not working for me. And I am moving into something different. That's life changing right there. Let me
yeah,
tell you. Because
yeah,
everything else that you learn and put in place is just going to start building from that.
yeah. And I found like when it comes to me and my mind, like it's about saving energy. Okay. So when I started to see situations that didn't work for me, relationships that didn't work for me, it was definitely like a little dramatic at first to end those situations. Nowadays, I'm like, oh, okay, I see a boundary, so I'm done.
A line being crossed. That you need to get back on the other side.
Yeah. And there's no big dramatic breakup, there's no
Mhm.
crying, there's no, like, it comes to a point where it's very matter of fact.
Yeah. It's just like this wasn't for me. You weren't for me. The situation no longer works for me. And I'm just gonna keep it moving and going my way. And I think that's such a great point to be in. It's like you don't have to crash out, pop off, go crazy, snap, do all the things. It's just like I'm okay with just walking away. And I'm good with that because I know it's something better on the other side of this.
Yeah, I used to do a little crashing out too.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
Back in
we
my
all
youth,
have.
child, back when I had the energy for it.
Hmm. Serious. I'm
Nowadays,
like getting older. I'm like, man, I'm in that,
yeah,
okay?
I'm like,
No
I
energy.
don't got the time to come back from it no more.
Because the recovery process from that too, because I was like, that's gonna lead into depression. You down, you can't get out of bed, everything is just falling apart. You know what I mean? It's like we got to keep everything together. It's just not working. It's not for me, and let me keep it moving. Let me move on. You go about your way. I'm gonna go about mine. We do not need to be in touch. You are forgiven for whatever was done.
Hmm.
And we just keep it moving. I'm good.
Yeah, that's the other thing about as you start to get that power over your mind, you start to notice when you are starting to get to the point where you're going to act out of character, where
Mhm.
you're
Definitely.
getting to the point where I'm going to be someone that I don't want to be anymore. and you're not going to even want to get to that point anymore. So you're just going to remove yourself from that situation.
Yes.
You'd be like,
I feel like if someone's driving you to that point or whatever the situation is leading you down that road, that's a good sign that it's time to go. It's not for you.
mm-hmm,
Because that's so true what you had said. Like dealing with certain people, it's like, okay, I know if I'm going to continue to keep dealing or talking with you, I'm about to revert back to who I was, the old me. You know what I mean? And that's not somewhere I'm trying to go because I've grown and come from that person. So I think that's very important. It's like, you know, at this point in your life, right away, like this is not it, this is not working, whatever it may be, I got to keep it moving. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's just me dealing with certain relationships and opportunities and different things like that. Also, it's just like you have to know when to walk away and be okay with walking away, because coming to that decision, like this was just not for me. Like I appreciate you, but it's just not it.
And the energy is so different when you're coming
Yeah.
from that space of, is this for me or is it
Mm-hmm.
not? Like, that's it. Like, it's never more
Exactly.
complicated than that. It's not about
What am
the
I gonna do?
person at
Scroll to the
all.
left all day? Oh,
Yeah.
life goes on. We got stuff to do. We got goals to accomplish, things we need to do, and it's just like we cannot get caught up in this cycle. You know what I mean? So it's just like you just got to be okay with moving on. That's why I keep throwing the hands up. Just gotta throw the hands up and be like, okay, it is what it is. That's how you gotta start doing it now. When they see you laying back, oh, she good. Oh, she, she good. It's over right
Exactly.
here.
When I put my hands up, no, I don't got the energy for it, child. That's all
That's
you.
it. You ain't got the energy, you ain't got the time. And it's so funny because somebody said to me, they was like, why you just throw your hands up? You're not knowing that I'm just talking to you. But I'm good. That was it.
You do not got to worry about me.
You ain't got to worry about me. You got to worry about me no more. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Now, I want to say in my process of, actually gaining this power over my mind, because I used to be a
Mhm.
spiraler. Like, where you just
Mm.
start on one thought and then it done led you all the way back to the third grade when that one girl
Oh,
pulled your
yeah.
hair and then went and told the teacher. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was ridiculous, the amount of spiraling
Yeah.
I used to do. My mind, I felt like, was out of control. I would have racing thoughts. I had a lot of anxiety. And going through the process of stilling my mind, of getting control, gaining that power over my mind, it really did take time. It took years of practice. It took meditation. It took journaling. It took reflection. It took therapy. I want to really emphasize that getting control over your mind, while there were some milestones where I came to a situation where maybe I'd been in that situation before and I did, the past behavior, the past version of me showed up. But this time, I'm noticing things are different. I'm like, oh wait, stuff don't bother me the same no more.
Mhm.
There's those little milestones where you do notice some big change. But I'm telling you,
Yeah.
that big change is going to come after you really being disciplined and taking the time to grow this. Be there with
Hmm.
yourself, being your own coach, your own best friend, the person who's like, it's all right. You just messed up, but you got this. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? That best friend who, no matter what you did wrong, they like, you good, best friend. Like,
Exactly. And I think that's so important. It's like when you're going through something and you look back and you was like, the old me would have handled this like so much differently. But I'm like so proud of how I dealt with this. Like that's when you know it's growth and you look back and you just smile a little bit. And that's when my mind just go back like, man, you really come a long way. You've really grown. You know what I mean? I'm proud of you in this moment.
look, me and past me be high fiving in those moments. Like,
They really do. Because sometimes they be going in. Like new me and old me, they like, okay, who gonna win this situation? Who gonna deal with this? And I be pushing for new me, like, nope, just keep going, keep it positive. We over here, cause old me be ready.
look, old me be trying
Ready.
it.
I'm not proud of it. Over here, we're doing, we're growing.
Look,
So here they go, people.
you will see old you try to pop up because you can't control other
Mhm.
people, right?
Definitely. And that's the thing. It's like you can't control other people but you can control how you react to things. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I think growing up a lot, I don't know why. It just seems like we were okay with the crash outs or the pop offs or the different things that we used to do. And it's like that was never okay. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So it's just learning that and growing from that. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
just it's okay to take the positive outlook. It's okay not to always have your point heard, have your view seen, have your point of view be known. Like I'm okay with you not knowing my side of the story
Yeah.
or whatever like that. Go ahead. You can paint me as the villain, baby. It's all good. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I know what it was and God knows what it was and you really know what it is. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's just being okay with those not being always heard and seen. Just it's okay.
There's a
I'm just
power.
it's okay.
Yeah, there's a
Mhm.
power with that comes with that, knowing that you don't
Yeah.
always have to be heard and seen. And there's also like understand that there's some people who just know better what is gonna piss you the fuck off. Like, can we be honest
Oh,
about it?
yeah.
There's some people who know exactly what's gonna piss you off and they're gonna do that thing. Like there's gonna be people who want you to be upset for whatever reason, right? Why? Not your business. But that is a reality. Okay. And so if you have to keep a conversation short, keep a conversation short. Because this is, if you're a villain in somebody's story, you're a villain in their story. You get to write your own
Exactly.
story and write you being real with
Right.
yourself. So if you was the villain, okay, you was the villain at that time and that was you at that time. But you
Mhm.
are the one writing your story. So that could have just been your villain
Exactly.
chapter, right? You get to decide if that was your villain chapter or if you a villain and that's your whole story,
Mhm.
right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes we get into these spaces with people who have maybe known us a long time. Maybe they know that one big thing that you did that
Oh,
defined you for that summer or whatever it was, and they don't want to let you go. They don't want to let you step away from that thing. They want you to say that thing because that works for them in their story. Let them keep their story, baby. That's their story. You decide what
exactly.
yours is.
We ain't got nothing to do with none of that over there. Oh, and I'm just like, that's what another thing with giving yourself grace and your seasons, because I heard you mention that you're in different seasons of your life and you go through different things with different people.
Mm-hmm.
So the way they take you or the way situations occur, it might not even been that deep, it might not even been that serious, but that's just the way they took it. So you're always going to be the villain in their story. There's nothing you can say, there's nothing you can do, there's no point of hooping and hollering, trying to continue to prove your point, falling all. It's just not worth it. It's just like I have to let that be. That's just what that's going to be with you, and I'm okay with that. And that really brings a sense of peace with me. It's just like not that you want to be like I don't care, but
Right.
it's really you have to get to that point where I just don't care. It's not really going to affect my life and my day to day. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? And you just okay with that. Just
Yeah.
is what it is.
That's that acceptance of what we can control and of what we cannot control. And no
Yeah.
matter what you do, no matter how much love you pour into somebody, you can't control how they see you. You could be doing
Or
and they see
receive
it as
it.
control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You loving them. Whole time they're being controlled by you, right? It's all about perceptive or perception. So we can't control necessarily how we are viewed by other people. However, we can control our behavior. We can control how we show up in spaces, and we can be accountable to that. I'm not saying decide you're a good person and then just no matter what anybody says, you're a good person.
Like forget
I'm amazing. I've never done anything to hurt anyone. No, nah, we said be real at the start. Hold on to that. Okay. But what we're saying here is don't get tied up in that one thing that you did that one time, right?
Yeah.
Be accountable to your pattern of behavior. If your pattern of behavior is I'm showing up, I'm being there for my community, I'm being accountable to my community, I made a mistake, I got off
Yeah.
track for a moment, but I'm going to get back on track. Getting back on track acknowledges that you was off track. So you're being
Exactly.
accountable, but you're also showing that
It's an
you know.
awareness. Mm-hmm.
You know what your track is and you getting back to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, that awareness is so very important because that's just going to lay the foundation for everything else. I'm aware with myself. I know what's going on. I know how to tap into this, and I know how to grow from this. If you're not aware, you can't grow from something you're not aware of. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
that's just the checking in with yourself and being present with yourself and talking to yourself and being like, okay, maybe this wasn't cool. Maybe I should have done this differently, but moving forward. You know what I mean? So that's just the way that I say that's building going to build a better foundation. You really have to have awareness for who you are and what you put forth and what you're bringing. It's very important.
Very much. High key, you gotta have people around you you can trust, people you can bounce stuff
Ooh,
off of. Like, quick sidebar because it's related, but this is just how my brain works.
oh, you feel it?
There's videos online of this guy or different people who have hallucinations, auditory or
Mhm,
visual hallucinations. And
mhm,
so they have like little tricks, or they have people that they know they can trust. And they're like, okay, there's a guy standing right there that I've been talking to. He's following me, whatever it is. And the person's like, no, there's no one there. And they're like, okay, good. I know I'm hallucinating now. Or they'll have their dog is trained. And if their dog doesn't like bark or doesn't do a certain behavior, then they know there's no hallucination there. Or they know that whatever they're seeing
mm,
isn't actually there in their
mhm,
mind,
mhm.
right? So,
Yeah,
like, that's a high level of trust, right? Because
yeah.
you in that sense they are helping you know what is reality. Their dog or the person, whatever that situation is helping that person with hallucinations know whether this is actually here in our shared reality or if this is just a me thing. You need people in your life who can help you know if you tripping a little bit. Okay.
Oh
It may not
yes,
be a
definitely.
hallucination. It may be a trigger. It may be you being in your feelings. It may be you overreacting a little bit because you were in your feelings or you were triggered. But you need to have people around you who can say, look, girl, I love you. Look, homeboy, we cool and all, but
But you over there tripping, and you need to calm down.
okay.
I think that is so important. Like like I said, my circle is extremely small, and it's very much trusted individuals. You know what I mean? Like you can't just come into my like it's a process.
Yes.
And I think that's so important because a lot of people can't have things said to them. Like they just want people to always be glorifying them or be on their side and different things like that. No, the people in my life is gonna tell me straight up, you tripping, you wrong, or you need to get out of the situation. You don't need to do this. This is not for you. This is not right. Do you know who you are? Da, da, da. And the list just goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And I trust them because it's not coming at me in a negative way. It's coming from like a loving place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it has to be someone that you trust to tell you these things, that you know they're not coming at you sideways. It's not a hating situation. They're not being negative or anything like that. They love you. They care for you. They want the best in you. And because you're in the situation, maybe you can't see clearly, the things that you're doing or how this is affecting you or different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was dealing with a situation recently like that. Like they were coming for me, like, girl, you need to really get it together. You need to, whatever, get out the
Mm-hmm.
situation, leave it, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? So it's just very important to have those people have that insight and could hold things up on a monitor and be like, look here, this is, you know what I mean? Like really try to open your eyes to the situation. Like, why are you not seeing this? Why are you smart? You do stuff like this. You got out of stuff like this. You know what I mean? So it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, why are you dealing with this or why are you putting yourself through this situation, like, and just that reminding you of who you are, I think is so important.
Yes.
If you're not having people that is in your life that's not speaking life into you, telling you who you are when they feel like you're falling off or you're making bad decisions or different things like that, you need some new people in your life. Everybody should not see you going through these crazy situations, doing crazy things, jeopardizing your life, your safety, whatever it may be, and just sitting there, okay, and y'all still going out to eat and y'all still going out for drinks, but ain't nobody had a real conversation with you. Those are not your people and those are not your friends. So I think
Look.
that's ways to like gauge that. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? What are you telling me? You see me dealing with this, but not one word has been spoken to me. And it's the same with me with my friends. Like, if you need this is not right, you shouldn't have done this, better decisions. You know what I mean? And it's never like yelling or coming at you crazy or
Mm-hmm.
snappy. It's just like we're talking now, like a general
Yeah.
conversation. Like things need to be better. You need to do better. So it's just you need to get those trusted people in your life that's going to help elevate you. Like,
And like
how have I grown since you've been in my life?
the real is serious
Why are
because
you here?
you need people who are not only going to say, hey, you wildin', but hey, why haven't you thought of doing this thing? You should pursue this.
Yeah.
You're good at that. Have you thought of doing that? You know what I mean? Like those are conversations that I have just with my friends. People who care about you,
Mm-hmm.
they want to see you doing good. They're willing to help you do good. They're, you know what I mean? Like they might have someone that you can talk to, a place that you can go to, a resource you can sign up for that's going to help you do the thing that you're trying to do. They're not going to be tearing you down, competing with you. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
that, those kind of behaviors just don't exist anymore when
Yeah.
everyone is tapped in, when everyone is worrying about, you know, how do I make sure I'm moving right? And then we're being in community together, then we're all making
Yeah.
sure we moving right. You know, you see what I'm putting, you picking up on?
Oh no, that is so true.
Like
That is
it's
so true.
interconnected. We're all interconnected.
Yeah.
And so,
I need to make sure you're good, you moving in your right path, you in your lane. That's gonna help me stay in my lane. You know what I mean? Like you say, interconnected. We doing this together.
yeah.
Really.
And so we putting each other on, and we're also helping each other stay on our own paths because
Exactly.
it get hard out here sometimes. It don't even need to be
Tell me about it.
necessarily that you're messing up. Maybe you just down. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the things that we've been trained to think are funny, right? We go out, right? You saying that we going out and we drinking and we having a good time, but we not talking about in some situations somebody's DUI that they just got. We just going out and drinking and
Yes.
laughing about it. It was funny that that happened. No, it
Yeah.
wasn't. Your friend almost died. Like they could have hurt somebody. It's not
Exactly. So
funny.
true.
And it's okay to be
It's
real
not
about
for me at all.
it. It's okay to say, what can we all do together? We always drink together. What can we do together to maybe help each other replace it with something else that we can still do
Yeah.
together? Because clearly we want to be.
Yeah. Like have a fun girls' night out where we go to a mocktail bar, make mocktails at home,
Mm-hmm.
different things like that. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different other options that you can do. But I know you just had a DUI and I just saw you pull up in your car and you about to come drink again. Like what are we doing right now? You know what I
And
mean?
then we all
So how is
kikiing,
this
right?
helping you? Mm-hmm.
It can't always
Like
be
how is it?
funny. And I love my Black people, but and we can spin something into some hilarity, right? Because we've been using that one as a good copingism. We love some joy, and and
Yeah,
coping
and that's
mechanisms
that's how
work.
Black people we deal with it. The comedy of it all. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? They're gonna always find a joke or the laugh in it to
Mm-hmm.
eat. I think it's like a pain easer. You know what I mean? Like this situation is so deep, so serious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what can I make out of this situation? Okay, this little joke is to be funny. If I say this, this will kind of veer it away. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just dealing with it like head on. You know, it's just like we have to really sit in it and be okay with that.
Yeah. And like that's some things we got to face together. And that's okay. We can do that. But it's going to take that individual work for us to get to the point where we can do it together.
Hmm. So true. So true. And that's what and that's the thing too in your friend groups, like everyone should be like working on themselves to be better because that's how we're gonna come together better as well. But it's just like if you over here wilding, you on your second DUI and you ain't trying to change, you're trying to better. How are you helping all of us together? You're not even trying to
Mm.
help yourself. So you're not definitely not about to try to help me or care for me and make sure my well-being is good because you don't care. You know what I mean? I'm paying attention to little things like that.
And that's where that discernment comes in.
Yeah,
Yep. Because it don't got to be about, you know, I'm better than you or no, I'm just not doing that right now. I'm not vibing like
exactly.
that right now. And so that's why I just need to be separate from that.
That is so true.
Yeah, like, look, we locked in and clocked in over here. I feel
And
like
it's
this
just
has
like
been
what you
such a
on
good
is
conversation.
not what I'm on, and it's okay. And then you have to be okay with maybe taking a break from those relationships and situations. Like, okay, you just need some time to yourself to get it together. Like sometimes you have to be okay with saying, like, I've done all that I can do with the situation, and I'm gonna just let you deal and go through the situation. And when you're ready, I'm here with open arms. Like, I still love you, got love for you, but it's just like what you're partaking in and what you're doing is not helping me, my mental health, my mindset, my nothing. You're kind of crashing my world. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
just I'm here, but take that time over there. You know what I mean? So it's okay to separate without it being like beef or problems or argument. And now we got to be subliminal messing each other. They're never there really for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just like, Susan, we tried. Okay, we had 5 interventions and you're still doing the same thing. So it's just like different things like that. Sometimes you just got to take a break from certain relationships and just see, how we can come back together if we come back stronger or not.
Mm,
Or if it was even meant for us to continue this relationship. That's the thing also.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing about community. You can
Mm,
still be in somebody's community. There's tons of people in the community I don't see very often. And when I do, I'm like, hey. And they like, hey. And we keep it pushing. Still community.
exactly. Those my kind of people. Hey, hey. Keep it pushing.
Yeah, and that's
Keep
that's
it
sometimes
moving.
the
Keep
best
it
way that
moving.
you can be in community with someone.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's that or nothing. You know what I mean?
exactly.
So you got to keep people where they're meant to be within your community. Everybody don't need to be in the inner circle. And there's a balance that comes with that. It's very natural. It allows you to have a range of relationships. Because remember, you can't be everything to everybody. But you still deserve
That's
to
so
say
true.
hi to that person that you want to say hi to just because you can't go
Yeah,
be there for the birth of her first child. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Don't mean you can't
I
say
can
hi.
exactly. Like we can still speak. It doesn't have to be weird. It doesn't have to be awkward. It's like, hey girl, cute dress. Okay. See you soon. See you at the
Yeah.
next whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's so important with protecting your inner circle. And I just feel like a lot of people just let people come in. Oh, this is my homeboy. This is my homegirl. Who are these people? Where did they come from? Why are they here? There is
Hmm.
no value coming from this person. Why are they here? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And
It's
that's
just
about
here to be here.
and it,
Stagnant people. You have so many stagnant people in your life. When was your last time you did an evaluation of who has contact with you like that? You know what I mean? It's. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. It's mind-boggling. Who is this person? Why are they here? I was just so confused. I didn't, and they didn't have an answer. It's just my homegirl. Why? What value? Because what I'm seeing right now is mind-boggling to me. I'm mind blown. So
yeah.
I'm not understanding what's going on right now. You really need to break it down.
Yeah.
So it's just situations like that. Like evaluate that inner circle. Why are they here? Why are they so close? Why are they around? Just to what? Just to be there? To leech off your energy? To leech off what you're a part of? Like, no. Why are you here?
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
I heard
Make it make sense.
I heard this saying that some people don't value you. They just want to be around you. They just want
Oh
what
yeah.
comes with being in your circle. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
not discernment. It all comes around. It is all related to the power of the mind. You have to trust
It's
yourself. You have to be paying attention.
mm,
You got to be intentional about your circle. Is there anything that we have not said yet, or any last words that you want to leave the people with around this conversation?
just want to touch on that last part about that inner circle, just being intentional with that, because
Mhm.
that really will affect your mindset, who you have around you and what you're accepting around you, and what they you have to understand that these people are, everybody's attached to something differently, mentally, personally, what they're doing, you know what I mean, and they're bringing that into your world. So you
Mm.
have to be very intentional on who you're letting in and why they're here. So just have that understanding, have those boundaries set, and just you can be cool with somebody. We can be an associate. Hey, girl, I'm liking your post, your pictures, but we're not go be besties. It's okay. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? It's not the end of the world. So my thing, last words will just be intentional. I would say be intentional with yourself. Be intentional with who you are. Be intentional with continuing to grow. Your mindset, speaking life into yourself, knowing that you are a person of value, knowing that what you have, the world does want. You will find your people, you will find your tribe. You know what I mean? But it's
Mm.
just like you can't let just, negative energies and negative things like that just continue to evade you and come into you. So just remember, like any negative thoughts that pop up, just X them out, pray, journal, do all those things. And just know that God's got you, and just know that you got you. And as long as God and you got you, you're unstoppable and you can do anything. And the rest is just icing on the cupcake. Okay.
Yes. Oh,
Yes. And stay
so
prayed up.
good. And oh my God, that reminded me, and I think this will be my last word on it. Um, they say that the gut is the second brain. Like that's where your second brain lives, is in the gut. And to that, I want to say, work on the power of your gut. Trust your gut. Trust your instincts. Lean into, if somebody gives you an upset stomach, if somebody gives you butterflies, right? This is not all about peeping out bad folks. It's about being able to recognize who's giving you the good feelings too.
And who's draining you when you leave their presence? Do you feel drained or energized? I don't think people understand how important that is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So pay attention to how people are making your gut feel.
Yeah.
Okay. And trust that. Now, Princess, where can the people find you? Because I know they can find you. I know they can see you on their screens.
I'm Googleable now. You can Google me now.
I mean, don't find her too much now, but
the energy. I got my energy down. Keep it in the box. You can find me on social media at Stylish Queen P. The P is for princess. So Stylish Queen P. You can check me out there, everything I have going on, see some cool interviews, behind the scenes, different things like that, read some articles that I've done. Yeah, and I'm just pushing forward with my goals, and I'm just high-fiving you for you continuing to keep going. I'm really am proud of you. I know I'm like a internet sister friend from a distance, associate, you know what I mean? Like I really am rooting for you, just so you know. So definitely proud of you and what you have going on. It's needed.
Thank you so much, Princess. Like, again, I'm so, so grateful that you wanted to be on my podcast, that you saw the value of what, I'm trying to do with this space, because we don't always get encouragement in real time. And so anyone who is able to see what I'm doing in real time, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that my path crossed with this person. Like, I know that, the universe, the creator had me, come in contact with you to encourage me to keep going, so I am grateful for you. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I got so much from it. So I know that somebody out here got something from it. Y'all, wow. If this was your first episode, okay, I'll see you again.
You definitely will. Stay tuned. Stay locked in, okay?
If you've been rocking with me before, thank you for coming back. I'm Salenna Green. This has been another episode of the Hot Girls Healing Podcast. You can follow me on social media at Hot Girls Healing Podcast. You can also join conversations online with the hashtag Hot Girls Healing and hashtag Healing in Community. I will see y'all out there. Bye.
Bye.
Since I know you're tired, since I know you're stressed, you were always favored, and you were always blessed. It's all about that. Hot girls healing. We doing it our way. Hot girls healing. We better day by day. Hot girls healing. We doing it our way. Hot girls healing. And it goes on and on. And when it all goes wrong, we'll celebrate so nothing's gonna hold us down. And it goes on and on. The healing takes long, but we are proud and strong. Nothing's gonna hold us down. Hot girls healing. Hot girls healing.